now and then.
How important is it to you guys or to your guys to finish off the home with a win?
Yeah, I think it was pretty important. We want to continue to build, and we know we're out of the race, but 4 to go, we don't want to just lay down and chalk it up. And so, good to give the fans one last game at home, and like I said, against another quality opponent that we saw in the first game, and wanted to kind of measure ourselves against that and see our growth and improvement. So, fought hard and played well, and happy with the result.
I mean, they had a lot to play for, so does that make you even more proud that your team showed up and was able to do what they did tonight?
Yeah, and we understand that, even the last Clipper game, in these Dallas games in Minnesota, everybody's playing for positioning, and so those teams are still going to come out and play extremely hard, and so we want to measure ourselves regardless. It's not like teams are laying down and not giving effort, so it was good to see that. I think we defended pretty well, moved the ball, especially in the first half, and I had a lot of guys step up with double figures, so happy with the effort and proud of the guys.
Following up on Fred's night tonight.
Yeah, Fred was big. He was obviously not just a scoring, but kind of calming presence that he is. It felt like at times we fell off a cliff without him out there, so to have to play him 38, is not what we'd love to do, but, when guys are in foul trouble or, Dylan's in foul trouble a little bit, Cam's gets tossed, and you got to have, more handlers out there, so he was able to do that, but really had big baskets when it counted, when it got a little close, and something similar to what he's been doing all year, but really, really big job tonight.
Kind of following up on the improvement that you talked about earlier, what difference do you see between the team in that first game against Orlando up until now?
I mean, our sense of what we're trying to accomplish is night and day, obviously, from the first game after, just going to training camp and preseason, so that's going to be a lot crisper and more sharp there. But like I said, I've always said our competitiveness has been there from day one, and that was apparent again tonight, so I never questioned that part, but just corporate knowledge, so to speak, throughout a year of learning what we're trying to get across, and like I said, trying to finish well so we can hit the ground running next year.
Your team led the NBA in technicals this season. It seems like there's a skirmish every few nights. Any part of you that takes pride in that from your team?
I've said I don't mind it. It's better than the alternative, which is, kind of laying down and getting ran over, and so, we've had quite a few lately. I think it took guys half a season or so to really get that identity of not respecting your opponent too much. And like I said, when guys have had some of the losing they have over the last few years, we're trying to instill a little more fight, a little more aggressiveness, and you bring in veterans and a certain coach that loves that stuff, and I think it's going to rub off on them. So, no, I don't mind it at all. Just got to be a little smarter, though. The Cam one is the tough one. That's probably, just the fact that they got the double technical right before. You have to be smarter there. But I don't know if that warrants another technical rejection. It was just a bump.
Coach, you all had a very good home record. How important was to have that fan and that crowd support this season?
Yeah, it was big. I think I just said it to the group. Finished I think 5th best in the West, 27-14, and so like I said before the game, we know where we'd be at if we brought the same record or even close on the road, and so something to build on there. But like I've said, the fans have been there all year, and trying to give them a good product, a good competitive group, and I think they've done that. They can see that, and support has been good all year. And so, like Jalen said before the game, missed our goal, but bigger and better things next year. And I assume, with another summer under our belt, guys getting back together and coming into it, understanding, we can give the fans a better product next year, and I think that support will only continue to grow.
Fred not backing down against Paolo, is that one of those things we talked about pregame where it's such a good example for those young guys to see him not using size as an excuse?
Yeah, that's who he's been his whole career and why he is where he is, and so never worry about him as far as that aspect. We're comfortable with him pretty much guarding anybody on the perimeter. He's going to have size advantage inside, but he fights guys and is good with getting kicked out there. So, one of the most highest IQ players I've been around, and has the toughness to go with and that edge, and so not surprised. He's got a lot of dog in him for his size, especially, and rubs off on the group, and they see that they can kind of try to implement that as well.
I think you knew what you were getting when you signed him, but has he exceeded your expectations in any way?
I said earlier in the year, not really, because I knew who he was and played against him quite a bit. I think the only thing is, having to really lean on him this much, especially early when guys were kind of struggling. Didn't expect that, but did not expect him to not be able to handle that. I think, hasn't had to do it his whole career, obviously, with Lowry, DeRozan, Kawhi, Siakam, and other guys, the other veteran guys around him. But knew he was capable. He's obviously an integral part of our team, and the leadership is there from day one. But having to actually shoulder the load a lot of nights when guys weren't really going has somewhat been a surprise, but not totally unexpected.
Coach, what did you think of Jabari's play? Because it seemed like he really took what took place on Sunday personal and came out with a certain aggression.
Yeah, he from the first shot, confident, knocked it down. He was, very aggressive offensively and taking the challenge defensively, against some other young, talented players. And so, anytime you play against guys in your draft class and guys who went right before you, you're probably going to have a little extra motivation. But it was good to see him, have a short memory and put that behind him. And I always say that our group is really about the competitiveness and the effort you bring. You can't do anything about made or missed shots. Nobody's trying to intentionally miss any shots, let alone free throws at the end of the game. So it's good for him to brush that off and come out firing tonight.
How good is it to have a guy that size that can shoot like that, to be able to maybe bust up the zone when defenses want to go zone on you, him hitting those elbow jumpers?
Yeah, it's a luxury in there. His mid-range is obviously really good, and he has a size in there. We feel we have a few quality people. When Alfie was here, we put him in the middle. He can make that play. Amen's really good in the pocket as well, and Jabari from a shooting standpoint, we feel we have a lot of good options we can throw in the middle and get a good look every time when teams go zone against us.
You called a timeout pretty early in this one after the Magic got out to a lead. It didn't seem like much was said, however, you guys went on a run after that and led the rest of the way. What was the message in that timeout?
Oh, you're right. I didn't say anything to them. It was just a reset and wake-up call. Basically, it was 10-5 at the time, but all 10 of their points were off of mistakes. And so, 2 threes and 2 baskets off of miscommunication and not attention to detail scouting-wise. And so just wanted to wake them up there, and I didn't say a word to them, just called the play, and that's all it took. They understood what it was.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it.